With the use of the mutant cells, Bionic Bunny is now worth it more than ever before. So let me show you what setup I would use for Bionic Bunny and show you what you're going to need for running it. So let's get right on into today's video. So for this Bionic Bunny setup, this is what I would recommend using. Now there's two options to this and they're very minimalistic, there's not really too much crazy difference between them. But the red module is of course going to be Bionic Fuel, then you're going to use Overwhelming Shield to max out your HP, Stim Accelerant and a Shield Increase are going to be your two modules for your HP, then all the modules for your damage are going to be the Amplification modules, Electric Master and Skill Simplification for your damage. MP really does not matter on this build, so this is what we are going with. Two range modules to max out our range and then MP conversion for some cooldown. Now this is option number one and this is how I most of the time honestly do not play my build. This is the way that I think most people would play it because they'd have struggles with surviving, but I personally would replace increased shield with nimble fingers. So I'd replace it with nimble fingers so I can infinitely spider really easily. But this is just my own personal preference. If you struggle with that or you don't care about that, then please do run increased shield on there. Instead, it will be a million times better for your survivability. So that is the build that you are going to want to use on Bunny. Next up, let's have a look at the external components and the reactor. For the reactor, you're going to want the hand cannon mounting because it is the fastest weapon and I'm going to be using my peacemakers as stat sticks. Next up, for the two stats in the middle, you're going to want electric and you are also going to want singular. And then for the bottom, you're going to want singular and electric would be the most damage, but I'm going with duration up in this case just because it's the best for my build. For the external components, I know you're a little bit confused and you're wondering why on earth is that a distorted resolve dirty green R set on my screen. Now this is not so much for the skill power that you can gain, as you can see from the 4-piece, it's from that other plus that you can see there. Plus 15% shield every time you debuff an enemy with a cooldown of 15 seconds. Now, if you didn't know, Bunny's third ability basically almost constantly debuffs whenever you hit it. So whilst you're running through mobs and everything, even with little shields, you will still be gaining your shields back if you do take damage for whatever reason. You won't really be taking damage, and I promise you that, because if you run this build correctly or just run around with this build enough and don't hit anything, everything dies in 1 to 2 ticks apart from elites, which you might want to use your first ability for, and that's basically it. Do you however want to use the Slayer set? You just want to go with all of the resistances and max HP on the top stat. That's ideal because MP really doesn't matter in this build, and then if you are using Slayer set, I would recommend using increased shield. Also, after a little bit of extra testing, Singular Master does more damage, so make sure to change Electric Master to Singular Master, but I would recommend that. If you are using the distorted resolve set, then I would recommend going to nimble fingers, but if you do look at your shield, it might be a bit low, so it might be a little bit back and forth, so it's just based on your preference. Next up, let's have a look at the arcade tuning tree. Now for the arcade tuning tree, this is what you are going to want specifically for this Bionic build. You're going to want to go down and you're going to want to grab your skill power. From that, we're shooting all the way up to electrocution vulnerability. This is just for some straight raw dog damage, which is exactly what you want with Bunny. Then we're going to go all the way down to this one, and this one is going to be the shield one. When shield remains above a certain max percentage, skill power is increased. If you use the max shield value is 1. And with this, you're gonna get even more damage just with Bunny, just for existing. And like I said, if your shield does for whatever reason fall underneath half, then this external component set has got your back and will regenerate your shield for you. So you're basically never gonna run out of this buff regardless. So that is essentially the arcade tuning tree that you're going to want to run with this build. As for my weapons, them being the Peacemaker and the Malevolent, let me quickly run on over the build. So this is a sprint speed Peacemaker, which you can run around with. Normally my builds do require this, but most of the time when you're using Bionic Bunny, you're going to be sprinting all the time anyway, so you won't really need it too much. Now I've got Defense Master on here, and I've got Tactical Chain just for a ton of defense whenever I shift weapons. This Peacemaker is here for the grappling hook, so I can do the grapple spam and infinitely spider around with Bunny. Then Malevolent is going to be here. You know how it goes with the Malevolent at this point. This is the Purge Malevolent, so you can do that. You can also change the elements with it. You know how it goes with the Malevolent. Everyone's used it and they love it at this point. So yeah, that's basically the Malevolent. So for your inversions, this is what I would recommend. Using Adrenaline Rush for speed, and then using Shield Particle Augmentation for your shields. This will stack up to 5 times. And then you can also use Rolling Defense to again stack your shields up if you are struggling with that. If you don't really care about your shields, you could use biodensity augmentation, but shield 1 is so much better, so you're definitely going to want to do that. But yeah, that's essentially all you need for your inversions. Now that we've got the build and everything out of the way, let's get on into some gameplay. So let's start off with some 400% gameplay. Now of course I will be running Bionic Bunny, and I think the best way to use this build is by just infinitely grappling with the spider aspect of this build with the Peacemaker that I use. Now you can see here I'm just absolutely flying through everything. I missed the grapple because it grappled onto a mob, but grapple aside, you can see my damage numbers absolutely flying everywhere. Beautiful damage, exactly what we want to be seeing. So I'm going to let the gameplay play out, you can enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys once we are right near the end of the mission with the final boss. So you saw some of that gameplay, and you can see that this bunny build absolutely wrecks. Dungeons are never going to be a problem with this build, and this I kind of feel is future proof to an extent as well, because we don't know what's coming in season 3 with the Axiom, and I hope that this build works really well in there. It's a big open world, and having infinite sprinting with bunny does sound like a pretty good time, especially in an open world. But you can just see here I'm going to be going with the Malevolent on the bosses, and my teammates are also finally here for once. But yeah, you can essentially see that this is the way that I play the bunny. So after I am done up with here, let's have a look at the damage output I've gotten throughout this run. Now you can see that I basically carried this run just from the gameplay, so the damage numbers are sure to reflect that. Now with this, let's quickly finish him off, and we will go on into some Sigma Sector gameplay as well. So let's quickly have a look at this. So with this we hit over 300 million, nice and easy. That's exactly what you want to be seeing. Let's go on over to Sigma Sector. Now with Sigma, you know how it is. This is essentially what we do in Sigma Sector as well. So let's just let this gameplay play out as well, and you can see how I deal with the bosses, so on and so forth. It's pretty much what you'd expect anyways, but I might as well show you anyways, because more bunny in our lives the better, am I right? If you don't say yes, then I'm gonna jump you, but you know, just I'll let the gameplay play out for you. Okay, so now we're basically at the stage of the bosses, and for the bosses with this build, it's essentially just Malevolent gaming. So, you know, I'm just going to be running and jumping around with the Malevolent for the next minute or two. But yeah, that's basically been this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. Please do smash that like button if you're new. And I make plenty of videos on the first Descendant. If there's anything you want to see, please leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to make it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!